Good afternoon, everybody. This is Steve with another exciting episode of Alliance of the Sacred Sons update video. As you can see, we're already getting started with a brand new intro sequence. The good news is we are finally what we would consider in beta. We are at 0.9.2. This does not mean the game is done by any remote stretch. It just means that pretty much all the major functionality is now in the game. All of the major features, all of the major concepts are in. The vast majority of the new UI is in. So we just wanted to show off some of the new stuff. I know it's been a while since we've had a big update. I actually put out an update a few days ago with the 9.2, but made a few changes, fixed quite a few bugs, and wanted to kind of show off some of the new stuff. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start a new game. As you can see, we have a completely new game system. We're going to do a new reign, and we're going to kind of start. You're going to create your emperor first. Since the game focuses on you as an emperor, we figured it made more sense to start with you as an emperor. So we have the different cultures. They will eventually have two different. You will have a character skill and a house skill, and we decide we want to be a science. So then we have an academic and an intelligence plus. So our next step is picking who we are. We have male and female. Eventually we're going to have enough portraits to have, depending on the culture, you will be able to pick a culture-specific portrait. But for now, we'll go with this fine gentleman right here. We'll continue on. So as you can see, we kind of build on each step. You kind of learn a little bit more about yourself. So we have, these are your skill sets as an emperor. So you have 5 primary skills: intelligence, perception, persuasion, intimidation, and charm. And then these are kind of your presets. That kind of skew in that direction. So we're going to go with mercantile, and you will be able to customize shortly. That will be a feature probably added in the next build. So next is house traditions. This is pretty common. You have 150 points. Works pretty similar to the original build. You can add up to 100 points, and then of course you have the option, if you don't like it, to go back and fix it. So we'll go ahead and continue. Next step is picking. You will be fully able to build a sigil. You'll start by picking your symbol, and it will actually going to have house colors that are affiliated with that symbol, so you can't have really screwy color combinations like in the current game. And then soon you will be able to pick a mid banner and then a banner footer, so that's coming soon. So alright, so this is who you are. Here you'll enter your name. I'm going to be Steve Hawkstorm. Hawkstorm, and then I am done. So rise, Steve Hawkstorm. The last thing is you're going to pick your new home. So basically we've simplified the options for now: small, medium, large empire, small, medium, large galaxy. We're going to go ahead and pick small, and we're going to start. As you can see, we have new art. I'm going to leave this run because literally it takes about 5 seconds now to generate a new game, which is very exciting. We continue to work on the optimization, so that's exciting. Okay, so we're here now. So these are from the previous screen. We still have our pop-ups. Now we've made the decision to take out all of the different mode pop-ups. I'll show you why in a moment. This is going to be your intro, basically saying greetings, welcome to the first day, just telling you basically where you can get information, which is right over here. And now we're in our new place. So this is what I was telling you about. This is going to the new Holocron Assistance link. So this basically, you have your primary categories over here, and then everything that's new. These are the new topics. So as you click on them, see, here's your goals, here's your starting advice, and that kind of goes away. So as you encounter new things, the information will actually come up here. What it will not do is pop up right in front of you, because that was getting kind of annoying. All right. So one thing we're doing with the camera, we're now going to a top-down mode. You can see we're going from kind of that 40-degree angle now to top-down. This should make things a lot easier to see, particularly things like looking at trade groups and also looking at your logistical network. So it still works if you zoom out. It just is kind of a cool little effect if you go in. So all right, so there's really a lot that's changed. So I'm going to try to hit all the stuff. We'll start with the science nexus. So it looks completely different. So we have our 6 houses with their output, and this is how many academies that you have, and I'm sorry, this is how many academies you have, and this is how much science points they're putting out, and this is your efficiency. We're gonna have tooltips in the next version. We have some really exciting tooltip designs coming. that will kind of show more information about why this is so low. But as you remember, I didn't put a lot of, even though I'm a science, I'm a technic, I didn't put very much into the actual science field. So my people are not very good at it. So, but here you can kind of take a look. Here's where you also change the distribution. It actually has a pop-up now. You can kind of change it here. So now we go to the social fields. Very different. Now you have a graphic output. You can kind of see each one. If it's blue, it means it's available. It may be something that's selected. If it's red, it means it's not currently available. So as you recall, if you remember from the science system, every year there is a roll on every potentially available tech or discovery, and it goes from 0 to 100. And if you roll above that number, then it's available for potentially selection. If it's below, then it's not available, which means that if I select harmony, basically if I decide to pursue harmony, just by clicking this, you see it turns green. That means I have a chance of getting one of these three this year. Now, if I don't finish or get a breakthrough until next year, it may actually be different. So there definitely is some luck and serendipity in getting what you want, but that's kind of how it is in real life. You're not always able to pick exactly what you want. So, but you can kind of focus on this by really homing down your science points into one particular field. So we have that, and then we also have our military, completely different. We've vastly upgraded the amount of research that you can have. And here's also where your new Lazarus project is. This is one of the new win conditions. You actually can research the Lazarus engine, which gives you essentially immortality. You can read a little bit more into that. I won't give it all away, but kind of a cool background story. So we're going to start with the warships, light hold ships. We're going to go ahead and that's kind of your gateway technology right now. As you can see, nothing else is available without this, so you're guaranteed to get it. When you have a gateway technology, that's always 100%. By the way, the tooltips will show the percentage chance of a certain tech being available any given year. So, all right, so that's that. Next thing is going to be the Intel Nexus. So we have our overview, kind of shows the budget, overall Empire Intelligence Center level. Here's your senior inquisitor, your best inquisitor, and their status. You now click right on. They have their own pop-up showing you where they are, current readiness, location, and then from here you can do some things with them. You can also do it from the inquisitor list. For example, if we want to train this person because they're not very good, we can actually go straight to them, go train. Now they're training. Here we also have a plot list, but we don't have any plots. So we'll get into that. Plots are actually quite a bit advanced in this game, and I'll show you that in a moment. So, all right, next we go to our economic screen. So one of the big changes we're making, and we're starting with this build, and we're moving down. You are an emperor. You're not necessarily dealing with individual planets, as a matter of course. You're dealing with whole, provinces, galaxies, etc. So everything going forward is going to be presented from the province view down. So you can see right now, and we've changed this to where your province output is actually going to affect your planetary product, basically your empire budget. So you can see the province as a whole is putting out 482 billion credits. So let's take a look. So we drill down, we see the different system. This is a new drill down menu. You can see, see here, resurrection, they're a negative. So let's drill down. Okay, well, if I lower prime. So we want to kind of see what's going on with that. So this button will shortly be available to click on, and you'll be able to zoom in. That functionality is already available in several other sections. Here's the tax rate. It has its own window. It gives you the expected gross empire product change, and then also your house reputation. So if I decide to increase taxes, I will drop my house reputation by quite a bit, and vice versa. So we're going to kind of leave that alone. Of course, it does cost 1 AP to do that. And then over here is our budget allocation. So it's a lot more complex than the original. The economic nexus has been very highly overhauled. So we now have our 4 main sections like we do. We have the amount, but now we have our funding state. So we can see how much it takes to actually fully fund a given section of our budget. As you can see, this is how much it would be to fund the entire empire to 100%. So we're pretty far below target on that. And then down here is our savings. So it's time to review our budget, so we'll go ahead and review. So we have a whole new screen for that. So here's our budget. We've allocated 0% of it. So we kind of, as we add, so there's 2 ways that we can allocate. We can either do it budget-wise, or we can use these auto-fund buttons. So let's say we want to fully fund, Intel. So we can do that. So it costs 105 billion credits. So we've basically 25%. So we then can lock it, and then we can continue to add. So as you can see, domestic, you have to fund a certain amount of domestic in order to, or you start losing popular support. But if you overfund it, then you gain popular support. And then with military, you have a military budget. Now, if you fund too little of it, in addition to obviously not being able to fund your logistical networks and your forces and whatnot, you also start losing fear throughout the empire. So if you have a empire that is being run by fear, that's your primary support stat, then you need to keep this up pretty much all the time. Right now, since it's low, we really don't have to do that. And down here is science. So you have an idea of your expected science output per turn, depending on how you fund it. So that's kind of a handy thing. People will, well, I have no idea how much, I'm putting money into it and I don't know what I'm going to get out of it. Now you do. All right, so we're going to go ahead and put a little bit more into, okay, well, we're not going to put science because that's not helping us. So 1%, so we'll go ahead and approve the budget. Okay. All right. So our next stop is going to be our new Stellar Nexus. So this is, again, we start by province. We have our ADM generation, and then we have our economic output, military value, and number of systems. So when we click on the province, it opens up to a province view, and then you can see all the different provinces would be down here. So it's similar to the House Nexus in how we go. The ruling house, this is the province governor, province ADM output, and then the military. So there's 3 shipyards and 4 forces in the province. 731 is the total military value. And then this is kind of interesting. This is a new concept, province jobs. So there's 625 working POPs in the province, of which 204 are admin, 106 are academics, 39 are fluxmen, and so on and so forth. So you can see the output. So just from quickly, I can see that on province level, I'm losing a lot of energy. So this is just something, again, as an emperor, okay, I know my province is not generating nearly enough energy. Now I can start drilling down. This is one of the things when you're starting to look at the problems of your empire, this is a tool to help you with that. And then of course you have your different systems, and they have their own top level output. This is a new concept, ranks. It's not quite implemented yet because I haven't quite decided on the formula yet to just governor rank, whether it'll be based on the empire as a whole or kind of a standalone. But each system and province will have a rank from S, A, B, C, D, and E. And that will quickly tell you essentially how good the province or system is. But it will also be important to characters because they get more power and prestige from being the higher rank system. So if you put if you have a system governor that went from an A rank system to a D rank system, even though you technically didn't demote them, it's still going to it's going to hurt your relationship somewhat. So so we go in and we can let's just look at resurrection. So here's the planet. And again, similar information, except now it's scaled to the system. And now we can click on here and it will take us straight to the system itself. Then we can go into Iloa, and this is the military view. So that's new. All right, so we've kind of covered most of the major new stuff. So let's talk a little bit about projects. So one of the things, we're going to go ahead and start a project. Oh, the new modes, yes. So we have 3 new command modes. We have the political command mode. Now this is interesting because this gives you a breakdown on how ADM is generated. So that's something that players continue to struggle with is, well, how do I generate ADM? Well, this will break it down for you. This is the overview. Okay, so we have 33 ADM, there's 21 government buildings, 22 admins, which means we're pretty fully staffed. We actually have more admins. This means that we have about 50% staffing on the planet right now. And as you can see, the Viceroy, his administration value is a 1, which is pretty low. Infra cost is high, and that also kind of affects things. So here's the ADM generation factor, so you can kind of see how it breaks down. So you have 21 admins staffed. Each one generates 5 ADM. However, you have an administrator, or a Viceroy with a 1 administration value, which is really bad. Like a 3 is considered average. You can also see that there is the skill of the administrators is quite low. So this has a significant net malice. So remember, different cultures have different skills in administration. So this is Iloa. So if we look at Iloa, see their government skill is quite low. So their trained administrators are going to be basically not as good as someone from, say, Barwan, I think is one that's, yeah, government. They have a better government, so their administrators would be more effective. So one easy way to improve your planets is to try to lure administrators from cultures that have a better stat in that. So public order is very high, so we get a slight bonus there. So all this kind of comes together to kind of show the main effects. And then this is the leadership hierarchy, and this is kind of new. So in the project system, we have a new concept called synergy. So the idea is, if your province governor is the same house as your system governor, then they have synergy. So they give a bonus to the project leader. And then if the planet belongs to the same house, then that also helps as well, although the viceroy doesn't have a direct effect on the project. So, and then if you are doing a project, you're the house that's doing the project, that also they own it, and the province governor and the system governor are all the same house, there's a huge bonus. So it's kind of represents houses kind of knowing each other and how they work together and how they kind of get along and understand, the concept. So when you have different houses that are working together to do something, there's going to be a little bit of static in that, and there's going to be some loss. So this is kind of a way of seeing that. So I'll kind of show you what that looks like. We'll do a this is the the demographic view. So this is cool. We've added a lot to this. So we've got popular support and fear. So we've taken away love. Love is no longer really a concept. We call it popular support. So it's similar to love, but it's not kind of a nomenclature thing. Like, you don't really love your leader, but you support them. Public order, the administration ratio, and then of course the riot chance. And then you have certain public order factors, positives and negatives, and these kind of show basically the more pluses, the more of an effect it has on the people's happiness, and you can kind of read through that. Migration, so it kind of shows so we lost 4 to Walden, and we take a look, we can see we lost 2 miners, 1 engineer, and 1 admin, and this is their desirability. So as you can see, they're quite desirable in these areas, so the bars are very high, so that is kind of a reason that we lost those people. Demographics, you can see we have the total amount of people, and then this is new, these are people that are training, and these are people that are retired. So when you have a lot of retired, pops age over time, and when they get to a certain age, they retire and they go out of your workforce. So they don't move, they don't migrate, they do lower your planet's overall development level because they're not really contributing anymore, and they're not really spending a lot of money. So they basically become kind of a drain. So unfortunately, you can kind of sort by public order. This shows how happy they are and then their happiness. So you can see that we have some ship component engineers that are pretty unhappy, and they may be looking for another place to go shortly. And then finally we have the job market. It shows graduations, job focus, if there's a specific focus. One thing that we're going to be kind of changing is when you have an ability to change something here through an action, we're going to have a button to take you straight there. So now, even though it's an action, instead of having you pick the viceroy and pick actions and pick, change academic focus, this will take you straight to it, to where you can go straight to and say, you know what, I want to go to an engineer. So we're going to not do that because we don't want to do that at the moment, but that's kind of a easy quality of life thing. So and then finally we have the Intel command mode. So this is kind of a new concept. This is a status bar. It gives you top level basically what's going good with the planet, what's going bad with the planet. Right now, what's going good in general is that we have a high Inquisitor count. We are fully trained. As you can see, we have a max intel level. We don't have any Inquisitors on the planet per se. We have basically a 1% chance of getting character information and 2% of getting additional plot information because we don't have any Inquisitors and we have an EIC level of 0, which means our informant level is probably very low. We can train a new Inquisitor. Now we have a lot more into this. So now it costs 3 armies to actually build an Inquisitor. So Inquisitors in previous versions were just as simple as clicking a button. They didn't cost anything. We want Inquisitors to be very valuable. They take up a decent amount of your, especially more skilled ones, they take up an increasing amount of your budget. And so we want players that don't care about intel. They don't really have to mess with it. But if you want to build a highly trained Inquisitor squad, you're going to have to pay for it. So now they cost 100 heavy, they cost 100 energy, 3 rare, and then 3 armies. So you know, if you want to build an Inquisitor on a planet, you would have to make sure they have enough armies. So there's no Inquisitor capacity in the Empire. We have 3 out of 3 because we have 3 Empire Intelligence Center levels total. And this shows you just it costs 100 BC, and then of course the fear increase. So every time you build a new Inquisitor, the increase in fear goes up a certain amount. So, but let's kind of go back. So actually, let's do that. Let's build a new EIC just to kind of show the new system here. So we have kind of some new stuff here. So we have the overview. This hasn't really changed, but let's go ahead and pick a leader. We'll go ahead and pick the, you know what, we'll give them a bone. We'll go ahead and pick a, I have not put, by the way, I have not, these will have drop downs. You'll be able to pick the houses and then sword. I just haven't put them in yet. So we have, okay, we don't have anyone from their house that's really any good, so I'm just going to have to build this myself. Okay, well, Waldegrave is doing really well. Okay, so right now this is the quality of life. You get an immediate ETA, and the reason it's low, remember we talked about synergy. So when we go back to overview, we look, see, we're not getting any synergy. The project leader skill has 100, but they're not getting any kind of bonus because they're of different houses than who own it. But if I pick one of mine, if I pick a new leader, we'll use her. It's a 61. So even with a 61, even though it's way lower, her ETA actually improved slightly because now I have some synergy. See how my project leader skill is up to 76? Went from a 61 to a 76 because now I have the province governor and the system governor. Even though they're not very skilled, I get a bonus based on their skill as well. So because we're working together. So still not great. I didn't really pick any government when I was doing my build, which is fine. I'm not playing the game. I'm just kind of showing a bunch of stuff. Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll just pick 2 different over here. Okay, now we can initiate. All right, so here's something else new. We have an vastly improved active project screen. So now you can see the type of project, and you can see the if you have the intel, of course, and you have expected ETA, you can also go straight to the project from there, which is kind of nice. All right, and then of course you have incoming transmission. Now, one thing we're going to be doing, you remember those little windows that kind of popped out? Oh, I haven't showed you that yet. Okay, well, here, we'll do that. Sorry, I probably should write this stuff down. Okay, they're not happy. Okay, let's talk to the system governor because this is actually a lot of stuff that's changed here. All right, so the big thing is we now can see our trust. It starts from 0 to 100, so you can see that come up immediately. So we've added the relationship tag. This is a very powerful tab. This shows you, we've gone from, instead of having, seeing every single person on a list, now you can see their strongest friendships, their most hated enemies, their most powerful allies, their greatest threats. This lets you quickly kind of put people in, if you want to, either help them or hurt them, or see who basically would be most offended if you do something bad to them. Like, for instance, if I were to do something negative to this person, like fire them or demote them or exile them, these people would be very unhappy with me. And if I'm trying to have better relationships with Iloa, then that would probably be very negative because this is the house leader of Iloa, so that would not be good. So this gives you that information. Here you can see their friends, allies, and special. Special is like lovers and wives, spouses, etc. And here, and this is what I was talking about, the little card that comes up. This is kind of something we're going to start adding to things like event. You'll be able to hover over a tag on the names and planets and see that information, as well as on the comm, because a lot of times you have a comm up and you're like, oh, I wish I knew, I want to know who Demundio Balasuria is because you want me to put in a good word for them, but I have no idea who they are. So now, in a very short version, we're going to start working on, you'll be able to click on the name, which will be hyper tagged and it'll be a different color, and you'll be able to see that information. So, and of course you can go straight to any of these. You can click on them and open up their information as well. So, and then of course we have enemies, same thing, dangerous, feuding, rivals. Dangerous are kind of like their most dangerous enemies if they have any. feuding are things like vendetta, vengeance, etc. And then rivals are rivals, essentially. Or if they're, have a negative, like a predator, a prey, predator, etc. So again, just a way to kind of quickly see a character's information and kind of who they like and don't like, and who has it out for them and who does not. So, all right, and then we have the Intel tab. See, we have an active plot. We have special ops here, Intel level. Here you'll be able to see rumors. There's no rumors, not yet. We'll have to probably go a few turns to see that. But you can also, here are the different actions, you can get that. Now the way you assign an Inquisitor now is you do it straight from the Intel tab. So to assign an Inquisitor, click on here, you get the Inquisitor selection box. Let's just say we want to do it just to kind of prove a point. So you can kind of see their training right now, which we can always pull someone out of training. So this light just shows that it's still green. But we'll go ahead and do, since they have the best espionage, we'll go ahead and assign a cost in AP. So we'll go ahead and do that. So now when we get out, if we go to our Intel Nexus, we see our Inquisitor list. You see it's blue, meaning that they're currently on a mission where they're at. So and the readiness shows how much they have to go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. Here's the active event. This is part of the building up your journey. That hasn't really changed too much. We've added more events on the new build. All right, so we're going to go ahead and click on process. And then we just kind of graphic overview. You probably see a lot of little things. We've added more icons. You see we have far fewer missing icons. There's still a few, but we're kind of working. You saw how fast that turn took. It took literally about 4 seconds. So so we are now going to let's go ahead and show. Let's see if anything's changed with our Intel. Let's see if we have any plot. Nope, we don't have any plots. All right, so here we have house leader. This stuff hasn't really changed, and this is what I'm talking about. So if you see a person on here, you'd be able to hover on them and you'd see their information kind of show up in that bar. So we'll go ahead and give them that information. All right, and then you see as we've kind of added, so we've added UI, we went to the overview planet view, projects, we've looked at projects as we kind of jump into that, and we're going to be kind of constantly tweaking that as we kind of get into that mode. Another thing that we've also changed is we've kind of tweaked the wind conditions. We're actually going to be adding a separate screen that breaks down the wind conditions more specifically. Not too much has changed here. We've fixed quite a few bugs with this. Kind of takes you there, and of course we still have these here. These let you kind of open up information as you need them, and then when you open them up, you can go in here and you can see we have 2 new UI. So once they open up, they go into here, and you can continue to read as long as you like. All right. Next thing, we have an increased skill tree. We have expanded the skill tree to include openness. We've added predictability and habitus. Everything works now. You see we have 5 AP, so we can go ahead and click this on. You'll get a confirmation, and then say we want Renaissance Man, so we'll always confirm before you spend the points. We have openness. Now these are going to continue to be expanded. This is how you grow your Emperor, and this is how you kind of change your personality over time. And each skill gives you something. Like for instance, this one, positive social events gain extra spirit. Here's friendly. You get +5 charm right away. Well, that's kind of nice. So we'll do extrovert. Okay, so we come down here as our inner circle grows. That really hasn't changed. So, but it's kind of nice to finally see a new portrait now that you can finally select your portrait. So, all right. So I have shown this before. I'm not sure. Not sure if I've actually. No, we've done that before. All right, let me go ahead. I want to get a plot because that's kind of another big thing. So let me go ahead and see if anyone's plotting. All right. So nope, still no active plots. Shoot, nobody's doing anything. All right. Well. All right. But you see how fast these turns are taking? They're literally taking like 2 seconds. Which is exciting. Here we go. All right, so we have a plot. So we have one plot. Plots and secrets and rumors are a big part of this new build, and they're going to continue to expand. So right now we know we have something is out there. Now there may have actually been plot, but we didn't have any information at all, because if you have absolutely zero intel, you won't even know it exists. So we know something is happening, so we have codenamed it Golden Missile. Isn't that great? And we know that it's a major plot. We know that it's a capital plot because this is red. We just don't know what type. So we really don't know anything else. But what we can do is we can assign an inquisitor to it. So now we can get them starting to work on it. This is fairly new. We can assign them directly to a plot. So we'll go ahead and have them assigned to that. So now when you see, when you go to the list, you see they're investigating Golden Missile, and then see there is an inquisitor that's now attached to it. So, all right. Last thing I want to show you is the new, remember we talked about the active projects. Now you have a lot more information. You now can know that this is an economic. They're doing something economic on Iloa Prime. Oh, yeah, we do. We know that it's a star. They're expanding their star base, so that's kind of cool. We just don't know the name. That actually, actually that may be a bug. These two should go together, so that's a little bug there. But you can see the progress. We know it'll take between 7 and 21 turns. So here we can also assign an inquisitor. This is something that was in the and now is actually activated. So let's say we didn't know anything about the project at all, and we were like, Iloa's up to no good. I wonder what they're doing. We can actually now assign an inquisitor. So we can get them off of that and see now when we go to the Intel Nexus, now we can see that they are investigating an unknown project. All right, so that's pretty much all the major stuff. Quite a bit. You can see everything is just kind of moves faster with the turn modes. You know, everything takes a little. Oh, one other thing I wanted to show you. And we've also kind of updated, you know, the system views. You know, they have different icons now. Everything's kind of updated. All right, there is one more thing. I want to show you the military to kind of show you we can actually, so this is something we got a lot of concern about. Wow, I can't see when I'm trying to move around my fleet. So now when you select a fleet, actually let's do a scout because they can move farther. So now you see the information's down here, and so we've moved away all the information. The only thing that you see now are the actual planets. So if you have them do something, like let's have them scout, you'll see that it's just a lot easier to get them somewhere. And of course you can still use the old modes too. You can see the icons are a little bit bigger. You can zoom in. So we just tried to make it a little bit easier. In this case, we'll send them here. We'll have them scout the system, hit accept, and they'll go on their merry way. So, so that's just kind of something different. So we have also improved the military view on a planet. So we now have the overview. You see we have all the different, we have the planetary cannon network. That's kind of like a like orbital cannon, ground to space cannon network that helps protect against invasion. You can see how many forces that are in orbit, how many ground military they have. So you know, if I wanted to build a new inquisitor, see I have 4 on there, but I can't build it because I don't have any capacity. So all right, so that's pretty much. And then the new army, it kind of breaks down. You can raise armies, so that's all there. The control's been kind of cleaned up a little bit. You'll be able to see different bombardment options. So we just kind of cleaned up a lot of stuff. It's not perfect by any means, but it looks a lot better, and we're continuing to work, guys. It's we're still several months away from early access. You know, at this point, we're really just looking at the look and feel of the game, but we're really excited about where we're going with it, and we hope you are too. And we hope to give you more information soon. And I do plan on doing a extended Let's Play probably in the next week or two. I got a few more things I want to clean up a little bit and add to the UI, and then you will see that next week. Thank you guys. Have a great day.